Hello and welcome to the River Channel St. Croix County Board Candidate Forum. My name is Meg Heaton and it's my pleasure to interview the candidates for the position of District 5 Supervisor on the St. Croix County Board in the upcoming election April 3rd. District 5 is located in the city of Hudson and includes wards 1, 6, 9, and 10. The candidates are incumbent Roy Schoberg and challenger Carla Stream. These are interesting days in politics and government, and I want to begin by thanking both of you for your willingness to serve in the public office and on behalf of the residents of your district. We have a series of questions we have prepared for you both, and we'd like you to limit your answers to about 3 minutes. Let's begin with some information about who you are, how long you've lived in the district, your qualifications, and a little bit about your background. Carla, let's start with you.
Yeah, I was raised in North Dakota and graduated from Minot State University. Why not Minot? I received a degree in elementary special ed, cognitive disabilities, and I married Patrick in 1994, and he was working in Hudson, and I just fell in love with it, and so we moved here after we got married in 1994. We moved into Lake Malibu Apartments, and in 1996 we purchased our home, which we still live in for almost 22 years. I also went to UW River Falls to get my LD certification, Learning Disabilities, and I taught Learning Disabilities at St. Croix Central in Hammond for 5 years. And then we had our family of 4. Josh is 20, Sarah is 17, Nathan is 14, and Tim is 12. They are all in the Hudson School District. And then I decided to stay home with them, and I've been doing data entry and also being a substitute teacher in the Hudson School District for 6 years. And the reason I was interested in this, I guess I'll talk about my qualifications. I'm a voter, I'm a constituent, I'm a homeowner and a taxpayer, and I really started getting interested in the process about 4 years ago and became an election official, and loved it and learned a lot and met a lot of great people. And then I was asked to run for county board and thought about that and decided that that's something I really wanted to do. And so I said yes to that.
Okay. Roy?
Well, thank you, and thank you the people that run the River Channel communication system, and for all those who have supported me in the past, including my spouse, who is here in the dark here tonight, Lana. I've been able to serve as the county supervisor now for the last 4 years. It's been an honor and a privilege, and I'll tell you more about that service in a little bit. But Lana and I moved here to Hudson in 1988. We bought a house on Vine Street, 1108 Vine Street, near the sliding hill, and we're still there. It tends to have a few political signs on it, so people kind of know where it is. We raised our 2 sons, Christopher and David, right in the house there. They both graduated from Hudson High School, went on to college, and now they're both in their different careers. Community service, this one's a little bit long, but again, I'm a little bit old too, so it kind of goes hand in hand. I was honored by this community by being named the Volunteer of the Year by the Hudson Chamber of Commerce back in 2001. I've served as the president of the Hudson Daybreak Rotary Club, and during my term as president, we increased the club from 65 members to 109 members. I served as the the Rotary District Governor for over 60 clubs. I was the chair of the board of the the Rotary Youth Exchange, serving most of Minnesota and big parts of Wisconsin. I've also served on the board of Hudson Youth Action, the board of the Hudson Hospital, the SOS Players, Christian Community Home and Services, the Administration Council of our church. And by the way, I sing at the Presbyterian Church now, and that's a lot of fun. I was a Little League coach and a soccer and baseball coach. But probably my greatest joy was to be the Cub Master for over 7 years. And during that period of time, I think, is that at 2 minutes or am I at 3 already? So we grew from 40 boys to 150 boys. Professionally, I'm a lawyer. I got my law degree back in 1982, and that's when we formed the A+ rated Schoberg and Tibelius law firm. Experience, again, I've served on the county board for the last 4 years. Because of my law degree, I have in-depth parliamentary procedures, and I was able to serve on the administration committee the last 2 years, and that committee covers such areas as finance department, HR department, all the libraries, the county administrator, corporation counsel, the county clerk, facilities department, IT department, so it's a lot. So a lot of experience. Thank you.
Thank you both. Roy, why don't you go on and tell us, what is it about serving on the, why do you want to serve on the county board?
Well, thank you. I like to guide the direction of our local government, just as I just described, help build a lot of the nonprofit community organizations. I think we need to continue to build towards a better community through our county government. And I can give you a couple examples. Back before the board that was elected in 2014 came on, there was a movement to close down or sell the county nursing home. And that was despite 2 referendums passed 2-1 that says, no, we should keep the county nursing home. And I was really pleased that the board that I participated in saved the nursing home. And now we have a filled to capacity healthcare center in New Richmond, very comfortable living space for our senior citizens. They have top-rated staff. It's very well managed. It's already profitable, and the assisted living center is probably going to turn black this year too. The Anderson window folks thought so highly of this endeavor that they contributed $300,000 so we could have a therapy pool there. And by the way, the whole institution is heated by geothermal energy, which makes very efficient operations. But another example is we discovered back in 2014 that a lot of disrepair had befallen our facilities. In fact, the radio transmitter towers were, I guess, in hazard of coming down. So what we did as a board is we put some resources into fixing all those facilities and equipment. Could you imagine a drop call? You have someone in your family choking, and then on the way there, the call is dropped. You know, it's just inexcusable as to how many times the prior board kicked the thing down the road, kicked the can down the road. So I know that we have to keep responding to these repair costs, and that's what I hope we can continue to do. Thank you.
Carla?
I would like to give back to the community that I love so much. My opponent ran unopposed in the last election, and that does not give people a choice. I was asked to run and to give voters a choice in District 5. I will be fiscally responsible and have a common sense approach to spending and borrowing on the county board. My property taxes have gone up while our family income has not. I would like to see that change. Voters need to ask themselves, is it going well on the county board, or is it time for someone else? I will listen to voters, represent the people of District 5, and work hard to control spending at the county board level. As I learn more about the role of county board supervisor, I realized that I didn't get to vote in the referendum for the $38 million highway maintenance building. My opponent said no to a referendum in that discussion, and I think being a county board supervisor means that you listen to your constituents, you listen to the people that voted you into office, because listening is part of leadership, and that's what I'd plan to do when I serve.
Okay. Carla, what do you see as the most important issues to be addressed by the county board over the next 2 years and beyond?
The biggest issues to address on the county board is the spending and borrowing. The budget has had a 34% increase since 2014. Taxes have gone up 19% since 2014. Borrowing is $65 million since 2014. The Health and Rehab Center is projected to have $1 million in losses in 2018. The highway maintenance building is $38 million with no public vote. The mass transit system is 90% taxpayer subsidy. Bike paths are at $33 million, and that's the skinny plan. And also, the seeking of sanctuary county status, as suggested by Roy Schoberg, is not at all popular with the people that I've been talking to. They very much oppose that. And also the setting wage levels for county vendors, which was also suggested by Roy. And also the Hudson Area Library, people are talking about that. That should be treated like every other library in the county in terms of funding. In addition, Hudson is considering new proposals for parking ramps, fire and EMS expansion, and wastewater treatment facilities. That's not just a Hudson issue, that's also for Hammond and Roberts are facing those challenges as well. The county needs to lighten as much of the load on taxpayers so they can meet the needs of the community within their budgets. And I just want to say that one more time. The county needs to lighten as much of the load on taxpayers so they can meet the needs of the community within their budgets. Thank you.
Roy?
Lots of issues. I think the one that screams at all of us when I'm talking to the people at the doors is the current opioid crisis that is so prevalent here. It's a national epidemic. We need national resources to really handle it. But what our county was able to do, we did. There's right now 90 children that were forced to be removed from their houses due to their parents' addiction or arrests. And we had to have emergency funding for 2 additional social workers to take care of those kids. There are counties out there where the children are sleeping in the offices at the government offices. And I'm glad we don't have to be in that predicament. So to address the opioid crisis, this county joined a bunch of other counties in a major lawsuit against Big Pharma, much like the tobacco lawsuit because of all the false advertising that the opioid manufacturers did. But we need the state and local resources or federal resources to do something about this. Fortunately, Patty Schochner was recently elected, and no one knows more about this crisis than she does. And I proposed to Patty that we levy a 1 cent per milligram of tax on the opioid drugs. And with that money, then we could have local funding for better treatment facilities. But another big thing, and this is something that was brought to me by Chief Marty Jensen, who is soon to be retiring, is that when our children have a mental health crisis, right now the solution is we put them in the back of a squad car and then haul them across the whole state for 4 hours until they get to Winnebago. And at Winnebago, then the officers come back, only to have to go back again later to retrieve the child. That's just unthinkable, that type of a service here. So I want to try to find a way to partner with the other health communities or services in this county in order to provide a regional treatment facility for those having mental health crisis. Another thing that we've uncovered is that there's a worsening of our drinking water. So the groundwater is getting contaminated more and more in St. Croix County. So in Kewaunee County, 60% of the drinking wells, water wells, cannot be used for human consumption. Here in St. Croix County, it's less than 20%, but even that's too much. So I participated in a 9-month study about this water problem, and we're now trying to follow up on those recommendations. I have a few more things to talk about. I just want to react to the Hudson Library issue, though, that my opponent mentioned here. So I've put on my website a reference to why the Hudson area is receiving such low funding. And I also have, and I can show anybody this, it's right off of the Department of Public Institutions, where the municipal support for our library is the second worst out of 35. So for that reason, we really need to work together in order to decrease our funding for our local Hudson Library.
Okay, thank you both. Do you see any areas where the county could reduce spending without reducing services? Roy, you want to take that first?
Well, anybody who has worked in local government realizes that we've been under strict budget constraints for years and years and years. Just this last budget process, we knew that the dispatchers for our EMS service, 911 calls, we were shorthanded. And it was very, very stressful. But we really held down. We think that we can come up with a solution this coming year. But right now it's kind of fill in here and there. Every single department head, when we set our budget, they're asked the question, if needed, where could you reduce your budget by another 5%? What would be the impact? In our dispatching unit, they say we could lay off 2 emergency dispatchers, but that would reduce the response time. So we are cut down to the bone already. It's very hard to do anything about that. So the only thing that I can see is, imagine yourself on a strict budget, and all of a sudden the health insurance costs go up by 5%. What do? Well, we can't raise wages, and we can't just keep cutting into health costs. So this creates a big problem for our county. And we keep losing people to the state of Minnesota because their pay is better than our pay. So can we make big cuts? Well, we sure would if we could. Every single department really studies the issue, and we just don't see where it comes. So I don't think we can start just willy-nilly laying off people in order to cut services. All the services that we provided, in my opinion, are essential. Thank you.
Carla, your response?
The main responsibilities of the county board are maintaining quality roads and public safety. I will work to control increases in spending by looking for cost efficiency in each department while focusing on the services needed. The actions of the county board, including my opponent, have saddled St. Croix County with unnecessary debt, which will affect future budgets and affect the ability to reduce spending. I will be a good steward of the resources. I cannot run my home budget and spend more than I have in my grocery budget. I can't go to Family Fresh and spend more than is in my budget, or go to Walmart and spend more than is in my budget. And how do you look for ways to cut back? And how do you look for ways to spend conservatively? I want to represent the people of my district on the county board and represent the issues that matter to my neighbors. And as I do talk with residents of my district, I know that the Hudson Library is very important to them. The homeschool moms that I know, the stay-at-home moms that I know, they go to the Hudson Library every day. My opponent has actively worked and advocated that our district put more money into the county to support other libraries while reducing the funding to the Hudson Library, and that's one area I would like to work on the county board.
Okay. Carla, the county's plan for maintaining and improving the infrastructure, is that a sufficient plan, and why or why not?
I believe that having well-maintained roads and bridges are a basic function of our county government. My concern is that the board has lost its focus on the basics and diverting money to other projects which are costly. Another part of the county infrastructure that many people in Hudson are less aware of is the county-owned and operated health and rehab center in New Richmond. Not a lot of the people that I've talked to so far are even aware of that. With the new building well under construction, the county board learned that they did not have permission for part of the new facility. Without this permission, they are unable to take Medicaid patients until next fall, around November 2018, 2 years after opening. There are two problems that I see with this. The county nursing home cost $25 million to build, which would have been much less in private hands. Some estimate it could have been built for $15 million. This nursing home is subsidized by the taxpayers and is likely harming other privately owned nursing homes, which in time can cause problems for our seniors and other vulnerable adults if the private homes go out of business. Now, I have personal experience in this. I used to work at Friendship Manor, which was a group home on Hanley for residents with Alzheimer's. I care about seniors. I love them. It was like having 12 grandmas, and I couldn't believe I got paid to do that job. So they mean the world to me. But as I mentioned earlier, this health and rehab center is projected to lose $1 million in 2018. Thank you.
Well, my understanding is that it's made a profit last year, and it will, even the assisted living facility will turn a profit this current year. So our numbers differ, and it cost $21 million to build that, not different number. And the transportation building is $27 million, not the different number. And there's no wildly large plan to build all these bike paths. So having said that, the county's infrastructure is our plan of watching over that, a good one. We had as our goal for our county administrator to set up a prioritized way of reviewing all of our facilities and all of our plans and projects. And he came through, he got a good grade. And what we developed was and this is part of our budget, so if anybody ever wants to review this, there's an operating budget for 2018. And there's a big long chart that we review each and every month, and every single project is listed in number of priority. And then it's listed as to what year it's going to be taken care of, and what the cost is, and what the progress is. So we're really watching all those capital improvement costs, and this is the proper maintenance and the restoration of our facilities. We have $250 million worth of plant and equipment out there. It costs money to maintain that. Anybody that owns a home or a business knows that if you don't fix the leaky roof, it gets worse and it costs a lot more money. So for the year 2017 and 2018, we were able to arrange financing in order to take care of the projects such as restoring the radio towers and the parking lots and all of that, the roads. So that is underway. I don't know what's going to happen this year, because if the board switches and all of a sudden they're just concerned about cutting costs, then this won't happen and we'll start to kick the can down the road again.
Okay. It's expected that St. Croix County is going to continue to grow. The population will grow. What challenges and opportunities do you see with this growth? Right?
Well, challenges is the more people there are, the more demand for services there are. The courts will need to have more hearings and trials. The social services demands will increase. The roads will have more wear and tear. And even whether or not we can still have safe drinking water will be a concern. To meet all those demands, we'll need more county employees, of course, and that raises the price on everything. But we have this levy limit in place. Fortunately, as the more people come in, the tax base increases, and whatever the taxes are, they can be evened out throughout the county. One way of increasing efficiencies was just implemented this last year and is ongoing this year, and it's called the Enterprise Resource Planning, or ERP system. And that increases efficiencies of accountability and also just more productivity for the employees. They can get more done with less time. So that's underway now too. But the other good thing that's happening in our county presently is that we have a comprehensive zoning ordinance now underway. And with that zoning ordinance, each municipality can select what design and zoning they want to have for their municipality, but they'll also know what the neighbor municipalities are planning too, so it can all be coordinated. And that effort's underway right now. There will be more hearings coming up. So we're planning for that growth for the future because it's going to happen. Thank you.
Carla, your response?
St. Croix County is a wonderful place to live and raise a family in, which is why my husband Patrick and I chose to live here over 20 years ago and raise our 4 children here in the Hudson School District. I want to welcome people to this county while maintaining the high quality of life that we enjoy here. Growth in the county from new development will provide increases to the tax base, but a high tax level may keep people from moving here. We need to control our property taxes so that families can afford to move here and people on fixed incomes, such as seniors, are not forced out of their homes. A growing population also means an increased workload for the St. Croix County Sheriff Department. Public safety plays a vital role for the county board, and I will support them and support that as well. Wastewater capacity is a Hudson issue as well as Hammond and Roberts. They face significant challenges that may inhibit their growth. County spending is increasing at a rate greater than the growth of the economy and population. Let me say that one more time. County spending is increasing at a rate greater than the growth of the economy and the population. And the facts and figures that I've given you, I will stand by those. It's a matter of public record, the numbers that I was given, the numbers that those I'm running with, we've all been talking about the same numbers. We're all giving the same numbers, so those are the numbers that I'm going to use while we talk. Thank you.
Okay. What other issues, Carla, do you feel the county board should address?
I would like to see the county board get back to county board issues, and I will do my best to steer it back in the right direction, maintaining quality roads and highways and public safety. I believe that the county government should focus on basic services, not start new services that are not warranted and may divert funds away to other projects which are costly. For example, the mass transit, which would be 90% taxpayer subsidized. Our county does not have the population to support a mass transit program. Also, my opponent has advocated for no voter input on the maintenance building in Baldwin. When asked if constituents should be involved and have a say through a referendum, his answer during discussion was no. I'm one of his constituents and I was not allowed to vote for that. 38 million with no voter input is not okay with me, and I will work to see that constituents have that input and representation at a county government level. If I am elected to office, I want to be there for my constituents. They're my friends, they're my neighbors, they're my family, they're people that I've grown with, and I think that they need to be represented on the county board. Thank you.
Roy, what other issues would you like to see the county board address?
Well, transportation. I'm not in favor of public transportation. I don't see the need for that, but we do have a lot of employers out there that are wanting their employees to get from New Richmond to River Falls and elsewhere. So I'm encouraged by the dialogue going now by the Hudson Chamber of Commerce and the St. Croix County or the St. Croix Valley YMCA. That seems to be working out pretty well. So I am in favor of public-private partnerships. And I'm encouraged by the fact that our community organizations, as well as the impacted employers and employees, and our municipalities, as well as the county, are having discussions to meet this challenge. So trying to get the jobs filled is priority for me. Secondly, reducing our energy consumption. I heard and I read that the Arctic was 40 degrees warmer than normal this last winter. That scares the bejeebies out of me. So if we can cut our energy costs, I want to do something about that. The ceiling of the roof of the county government center is built for solar energy. But we can't afford to put anything up there. So we're looking for grants and other ways of making it maybe a partnership with a private employer who would be able to use a tax credit and lease the property to us. So we're looking at ways of cutting our energy consumption in those ways. Thanks.
Well, we've reached the end of our questions, but I'd like to give you both an opportunity to add anything else that you would like to add for the voters to know. Carla?
I may be new to this, but I was asked to run for County Board Supervisor, and I'm so excited to do it. I'm so excited to learn the process, and it is a steep learning curve for me, but I'm excited to represent those in District 5. So the voters in my district have a choice between two candidates and not someone running unopposed. I'm excited to make a difference. So the question when the constituents go to the polls is, are things going well, or is it time for a change? I would like to bring that change. And if you would like to see common sense and fiscal responsibility and a turning around of the ship of spending, then I would ask that you would vote for me. Vote for Carla Stream for County Board Supervisor in District 5 on April 3rd. Thank you.
Thanks, Carla. Roy?
Well, thank you, Meg, and again, River Channel, for this opportunity. I appreciate it. I didn't want to have to bring this up, but since it was brought up, I do have to defend my reputation. Running for office is not for the weak of heart, but for whatever reason, my opponent has built her campaign using a deceptively edited video clip of my comments made at a January 3rd County Board meeting. As my reputation in this community is of critical importance, I invite you to view my website and watch the 2-minute unedited version of the comments I made at the County Board meeting. You will see, as is reported in the official minutes, I was inviting discussion regarding being open and fair to refugees, such as the Syrian refugees that Father John Garrett just talked about during his invocation an hour earlier. While I mentioned that some cities and few counties are sanctuary cities and counties, I invited the public to attend the public forum being held that evening at St. Patrick's Church. I have never proposed or supported any motion or resolution that would label St. Croix County as a sanctuary county. After studying the issue back in January of 2017, I came to the conclusion then that applying for such status would not be in the interests of the county. So don't paint me with that cloth. Guiding the direction of the county is a big responsibility. It takes 19 of us to do the job. And it's been the consensus opinion of the board that the services our county now provides are essential for our community's health and well-being. It has been my privilege to serve for the last 4 years. I've dedicated a lot of time and all my energy to these issues. I hope my constituents permit me to continue to work so that we can continue to build a better community for all of us. Thank you.
I want to thank you both for participating today and again for your willingness to serve. Please watch for upcoming interviews with the candidates for Districts 4, 6, and 7. On behalf of the River Channel, we want to remind everyone in District 5 and throughout the area to mark their calendars and vote on April 3rd. Thank you.